Right. Can I be heard? Is this working? Right. Okay. Uh, Good evening. This is the second press briefing of this term. Obviously, we've purposely chosen to do this after the reshuffle and after PMQ's and the General Assembly yesterday. So I'm going to just go over what's been happening in government and anything related, and then I'll be taking any questions from the press in case you're not sure on how this goes down for the 7 of you here. Right, okay. Obviously, you'll all notice that we've had a cabinet reshuffle coming, well, today. This has been planned in the last few weeks. Obviously, we usually like to have these things go through the midterm. This is primarily because a lot of our legislative agenda has been completed, the crucial parts of it, and for now it should be smoother sailing. I thank everyone outgoing from cabinet, the former defence secretary, chancellor, um, well, basically everyone who was leaving. They've all done an excellent job, and I was very glad to see that nobody ended up leaving in ill will. Uh, so the replacements are chosen very carefully. I believe that everyone who's been put in is incredibly suitable for the job that they've been chosen for. For example, the new Chancellor, he has the legal expertise that we used to have from people like Lakes, which will come incredibly handy for how we progress in the Treasury. Now, outside the reshuffle, we've had multiple civil service appointments. The House of Lords Appointment Commission has now gotten off its feet. We've got an excellent chair and some independent commissioners. So we should be able to see the ball rolling eventually on moving it into a more independent system, as we promised before the end of this parliament. We've had a multitude of civil service appointments, such as a new permanent secretary to transport and housing, the Home Office, many new ambassadors in HMDS, and a new chief operating officer at the Companies House and at HMRC. So we've got a lot of people that we now need in positions that we needed filling quite a while ago. Outside of that, we are still holding on to our white paper for the national economy in preparation for when Wiltshire comes out. We're very confident in the assurances from Dan and Millie and others that this, when it comes out, it will be working. We have faith in the idea that no, it's better that a game is delayed than it coming out unfinished and a bit buggy. And like I said, we're very confident in how this is going to go. And that's why we continue to make preparations for that instead of giving up on it. Including what's happening with the game, we've decided that, well, we've been informed that emergency services will not be a priority. So the Fire and Emergency Services Bill will probably be at the bottom of the list for legislation that we want to have proposed this term. Whilst we focus on other things like the Courts Bill, Armed Forces, and building up things like the Wiltshire Police and the Armed Forces in preparation for the game to release. As for the Foreign Office, we've had quite a hefty week. So over the last few days, many things have happened. Most importantly, a UK has applied to replace us within the UN, but luckily we've managed to get ourselves back in touch with many, many nations who have provided their full confidence in us for that vote to ensure that we remain in the UN. We've also seen Israel enter the United Nations, the same, well, a different Israel group, but a similar one to that which UK went to war with. It has the same group management and development team. So whilst we're not going to go for any provocations, we do keep ourselves ready for any possible infiltration from all sides, which is why the Home Secretary will be beginning applications for Director General of the Security Service later tonight, hopefully by the time the applications for Chief of the Secret Intelligence Services conclude, which we expect to be done at 9:30. We have multiple different candidates, all of which have given a pretty solid response, and we believe that there will be an appointment made tonight regarding MI6. There will not be a national crime agency, as said at the election, because it will provide basically no use. And we're confident in the idea that the intelligence apparatus will be able to be strong once organised. We do want to keep it at a more smaller, concise level to ensure that no outside infiltration can happen, as has been shown in other groups. Now, as for other foreign affairs, there was a raid during a US meeting with Taiwan yesterday, which at first there was suspicion that it was connected to the Mexican government, but that has been cleared up. We did issue a condemnation toward those who perpetrated the attacks, because we don't condone things like that. There's also been allegations of false flag operations from Israel against the United States, but as said at Prime Minister's questions, they're only that, they're allegations, and so we're gonna, for now, it won't affect our relationship with the United States of America, and we won't be following up any allegations until we see proof come with it. Outside of that, the armed forces has seen a good progression over the last few weeks, as the former Minister of State, now the Home Secretary, made clear. Many of the maps are fully underway and are looking very fit for use. The taxis and transport bill is also near finalisation. The Transport Secretary has been working very hard on that, so that should be done, or at least proposed in time for Wiltshire's release within the coming weeks as it goes through Lords Committee stage. Speaking of Lords Committee stages, the SDP peers have been working hard to get issues regarding the Lords Standing Orders resolved, wherein the ones that the clerks attempted to submit couldn't be approved, so they had to default onto the real life standing orders, which meant that committee stages and committees appointed by committees to change the standing orders meant that a lot of red tape and bureaucracy had to be gone through to cut down the standing orders, which will be reformed in due course, as far as I'm aware, which should stop a lot of the bogging down of legislation through the Lords, as we've had to deal with things like extra pass stages. Regarding the Commons, the standing orders pretty much fit for purpose now. Proxy votes have been working mostly fine to ensure that the government can maintain itself. Although our attendance has not changed much, it still stayed between the range of 5 and 7 pretty consistently for each sitting. And there isn't much more regarding that, apart from the fact that proxy votes, the standing order regarding that, does have a sunset clause, so at the end of this parliament it will be removed anyway, so it won't be an issue for future governments or oppositions to deal with. Regarding the courts, they're pretty much sailing along smoothly. The courts, and now it's called the Courts and Constitutional Reform Bill, is expected to be submitted soon. We're likely going to put it toward the Commons first to stop it being bogged down in the Lords, which will consist of many things, including the return of the Law Lords and the fixing of the Judicial Appointments Commission, so that we can get the ball rolling on all of that. The judiciary has already seen clear, well, I wouldn't say mild, but clear success so far in areas that is operated, like the cases that have already been handled. So overall, it's been a good few weeks for government, and we believe that there is an upward trajectory from here, no matter concerns that are held over things like Wiltshire and government activity, because a lot of this work is background, and what's clear is there's still a community here. Some people are dormant, some are not, and they're just waiting for the game to come out. They're waiting for big stuff to happen. So people who say that the group is dying, we don't really believe that at all. Unless there's anything that I've missed, which I don't believe, I'll now be taking questions. I don't know if BBC or ITV, whichever one of you want to go first. If you're typing it or saying it, if you're saying it, I'll bring you up. If you're typing it, then type it. Harry and Benson, that goes for both of you. Or Fred, whichever one of you is asking questions. Ah, right. Sorry. RTC keeps disconnecting. How does the Prime Minister intend to combat periods of inactivity should they arise once the game is released? I think once the game is out, it's going to provide a lot more opportunities for us to engage with things like in-game events. I know that Matt made it very clear that he wants, Matt, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure you did say that you want a lot of stuff to eventually move to be in-game focused so that we aren't one of those Discord groups. Simple things like in-game events, things organised by, say, DCMS. Obviously, it's a classic example, but say you used to have things like London Marathon, you used to have street races. I don't know how that would work in Wiltshire, but there are so many options for governments to engage once the game is out that aren't here right now. Hence why I said I have so much faith in the future of this group, no matter how it looks at its current stage. Do you have any other questions? It appears he does. Ah, right. Thoughts on BGT starting soon? Anything on that? I think the fact that they're starting Britain's Got Talent, it's a very good idea. I applaud them for doing that. It will bring a bit more activity, I believe, to RP UK that is needed, a bit more community engagement that the government would like to see, and of course, I'm sure the admin team would like to see. So yeah, I'm very happy about that, and I hope it goes very well. I'm not sure if I'll be one of those people that ends up contending on it, but either way. Uh, does anyone have any more questions? BBC, do you have any? Take it likely not, but assuming that's it, unless Fred, you want to start typing something in my DMs last second, that's basically it for this. We want to start eventually making these press briefings a more weekly thing, but with not as much stuff on the table, with everything being done in the background, it wouldn't be as insightful to do it every single week. So it's a bit better of a sum up to do this every 2 weeks or once a month. Assuming that, because I do intend to run for a second term, assuming that does go successfully, then by then, obviously, if something like Wiltshire's out, then we'd see a lot more progress each week in government publicly, which can be discussed further. So, thank all of you for coming. A brief wrap up of what's been on not a bi-weekly report, that's for next term, but a report on what's been going on in government for the last month will be released in due course, and also well, I'd say a quick summary of what I've said here. It will be a summary of what I've said here wrapped up into one neat package. So yes, thank you all for coming. Matt, thank you for actually sorting this for me because Albert's never online. Yeah. Oh well.